Welcome back to the SSL. Tasteless and Wolf here. We're now going on to our third best of three. I really liked what Classic did in that last game. Seems like the Adept is pretty tough to stop, but I do like the idea behind the strategy in general. Yeah. You don't have to just use the Adept to try to acquire third base. You can also combo that with a proxy, with the Warp Prism, then the Immortals, and it seems like it's pretty tough for Terran to stop.
I mean, it's just so difficult with the new Warp Prism pickup range as well. You can get those Adepts out, keep them alive, they regenerate their shields really quickly, and then bring them back in, keep attacking, the Terran just falls apart. Now, Alive did a really greedy, risky build, but you made even like a ton of turrets, but you can't have turrets everywhere. Then you spend too much on turrets, and the Protoss just gets ahead because you spent like 1,000 minerals making 10 turrets. So it's a really tough build to stop, and Classic prepared really well. He said in his interview he has a lot more builds planned that he wants to show us. But we're going to go into our third matchup of the night, which is going to be Stats versus Hurricane, a PvP. And here's Stats info. This guy never really winning individual league tournaments. Has been a lot weaker in individual leagues than he is in like Pro League, for example. The only tournament win he ever had was a WECG Korean qualifier. Unfortunately, that tournament never even happened, so that didn't even really mean anything. Now here is Hurricane, someone who is also very similar to Stats in Wings of Liberty, was actually very good in team leagues in the GSTL, but not very good in individual leagues, making it to Codes only a few times in his career. I mean, if you look at his career here, some of the stats go back to 2013, the Hong Kong esports tournament. Not a ton of stuff going on for him in Korea, not a ton of wins here in individual leagues.
Again, it is a best of three PvP. I'm not sure if there is a favorite for this. What do you think?
I think there is. I think Stats is highly favored here. I think Hurricane.
I think Hurricane has a better shot. I mean, not necessarily a better shot than what you're saying. I'm not saying a better shot than Stats, but I would still say it's a bit of a toss-up.
I mean, it is PvP. It's a new expansion. We haven't seen very many televised PvPs.
Yeah, I haven't casted a ton of them. But before we go on to that, let's take a look at the interview with the two players.
KT 롤스터 프로토스 김대엽입니다. 스타리그 시즌 1, 2 때는 다 4강에 올라갔었습니다. 굉장히 기뻤죠.
삼성 갤럭시 허리케인 남기훈입니다. 저번에는 16강에서 떨어졌는데 요새 게임도 워낙 재밌게 하고 있고 기대해 주셔도 좋을 것 같아요. 안정적인 프로토스의 대명사라고 할 수 있을 정도로 되게 안정적이고 운영형 스타일 프로토스인 것 같아요.
공허유산 베타 초창기 때부터 별그마에 오를 정도로 실력자라고 생각하고 있어요.
커리어적인 부분에서도 김대엽 선수가 앞서고 경험적인 부분도 김대엽 선수가 훨씬 앞서고 그런 부분에서는 부족하다고 생각해요.
커리어적인 부분은 저보다는 많이 안 좋기 때문에 저는 늘 하던 대로 편하게 경기하면서 하면은 이길 것 같아요.
제가 김대엽 선수보다는 아무래도 컨트롤적인 부분에서 제가 좀 더 자신 있다고 생각을 하거든요.
저는 컨트롤적인 부분에서는 제가 좀 많이 앞선다고 생각하고 있거든요. 기웅이도 그렇게 말했다는 건 컨트롤에 굉장히 자신감이 있다는 말인데 좀 재밌을 것 같아요.
이렇게 저랑 민수랑 올라오게 되었어요. 둘다 열심히 해서 좋은 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
이번에는 결승에 올라서 우승하는 모습을 보여드리면서 제 한계를 깨는 모습을 보여드릴 테니까 많이 응원해주세요.
What's up, guys? We're back. Nice interview there. Stats against Hurricane. The Adept, of course, changes this matchup as well.
It does because you can poke with it, you can harass with it really, really easily. And, it's one of those units that really makes you think about how you're going to counterplay it because the shade can be canceled, which I think is one of the strongest things in the unit. Oh my god, these two Pro Gamer jackets look so cool.
They look quite clean, man.
Yeah, they're like really
sparkling.
Nice.
They're like right off the press there.
Very new.
Very new, man. That's mint condition right there.
Getting ready for Pro League.
That's right. Not a stain at all. Anyways, PvP, a pretty dynamic matchup. We'll have to see how these two players approach it on our map, which is probably one of the weirder maps we've had here in StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
And that is loaded up now, so let's get ready. Stats vs. Hurricane, PvP here at the SSL. Introducing our two players. Our first Protoss down here in the bottom left. In the red, he is Stats. In the upper left, in the blue, our other Protoss, Hurricane.
Now, Tasteless, this is my first time actually casting on this map.
Okay, so let's talk about this map. First of all, this map gets the Tasteless signature of approval.
Mine as well.
I like that it is a very different map from what we've normally seen, and I think we need to have more maps that look like this.
I totally agree.
I know there's going to be a lot of nerds who are going to bitch on the internet and be like, it's not basic enough for me. But look, I think this allows for some very interesting playstyles. I'd like to see every matchup played on this map.
Yeah.
Although I think a lot of pro gamers not as fond of this, but this is a map where you're going to be constantly expanding to the right. There is a gold base there in the center left.
Yeah, on an island.
On an island. And that's really cool. I also like to see just more islands in general.
Me too. It's something we never really had all too much in StarCraft 2.
I almost wish we did experiment a little bit with island maps in StarCraft 2. I know that people say it wouldn't be, totally fair, but I don't know. I would just like to see how the races operate on island maps.
Yeah, me too. Another thing about this map is the rush distance is insanely short, and it's a two-player map. And the rush distance by air is also short, so I feel like this matchup on this map will probably be dominated mostly by early game adepts into Phoenixes. Now, we already see a huge variation in these two builds. So we're seeing Hurricane go for 2-gate Stalker, and we're seeing Stats go for 2-gate Adept. So they're going to have different Tier 1 units coming out of these gateways. And obviously the Adept is going to be a lot more flexible when it comes to harassing, and I think Hurricane is probably playing this a little bit more defensively with the Stalkers coming out.
Yeah, it's already two diverging paths here. I'm feeling Stats' opener a little bit more, but let's see if it actually works out. That might be because my brain is hardwired to always think you have to go Adept early as Protoss, but that's not necessarily the case here.
Now, the Watchtower is so important on this map because it gives you so much vision. As you can see, the Stalker can't really deal with the Adepts because they're just going to shade away. He needs to control them, though. He's just going to come in here and target down probes.
Remember, Stalkers don't attack fast, so these Adepts can actually get a lot of kills if they want.
And this is also Adepts are light units. Stalkers don't do bonus damage to that. The Mothership Core coming home is so important.
But
he canceled the shade.
I thought he was going to shade right back out of that, but pretty cool.
I guess it's because there was a Stalker there, but either way, he's going to lose this battle. He's going to lose both Adepts with no damage done.
Let's see. He might be able to get one probe up. Nope, never mind. Sorry. And he's actually going to gun down the Adept. Really nice play here by Hurricane.
And now Hurricane knows that because he spent so much time building Adepts, he can actually control the natural.
Stats was actually going to try to expand behind this, but it's not going to work. He's going to be pressured up into going into his main, and that means that Hurricane's going to get the first expand. Already a really cool build here by Hurricane.
Hurricane's going to go Robo. Now the Oracle is almost finished, and when that's done, it's going to be able to rocket right across the map because it's such a short air distance, short distance by ground. Everything about this map is high intensity all the time. And this Oracle is unscouted because the Watchtower is not controlled. And even if I guess he's just outside range of it.
Yeah, I think he's just outside range of that. The Oracle now coming up here. Nothing really to help defend. He does have the Mothership Core here, activating that pylon. And over here, an attack on the front of this expansion.
Yep. And here comes the micro. Better micro here from Stats, actually. Much better micro.
By a lot. Wow. Keeping all of the Stalkers alive. That's going to force Hurricane back.
I think he just won a 4v5 Stalker fight.
That was, well, hold on. We see the Oracle coming up now. He's going to try to dive back in here, getting that probe. There's not endless energy on that Mothership Core, so he's got to be really careful. Once again, Hurricane continuing on with the pressure. We don't have a pylon down here or anything else to help defend for Stats. Stats probably going to have to pull back and go onto the high ground.
Yep, there's that overcharge, but it doesn't reach these units. Now, he can actually target these sentries, but gets caught. Good micro by Stats. I have to say, he's definitely winning the micro battles here.
Yeah, he's winning these skirmishes on the ground. That much is for sure. Pylon now coming down here. And the Oracle comes back, and that's going to be able to assist with the rest of this attack.
This is a big win here.
Energy? Yeah, he gets it very nicely done. And we may have the possibility of the Protoss army getting sandwiched here. Hurricane coming down now. Two more Stats and Stalkers coming in to try to reinforce.
Oh my god, his micro is godlike. Stats is out of control, this micro. Now notice the way he pulled that Stalker back while having the rest of his Stalkers fire. He only wanted them to fire because he wanted to keep the attack priority on the firing units so that when the weakest Stalker escaped, then you could pull them back. So they were always keeping the attention of the other Stalkers away. Hurricane would have had to manually target to kill it, and he didn't. It doesn't matter because right afterwards, Stats just attack moved with it and it died, but just that kind of micro is really cool to see at this level. Right,
Oracle rotating up here now.
Yeah, just a little bit of damage done with this Oracle. Like, he's pressuring more than anything else, but he hasn't gotten very many kills, only 4 pro kills.
Yeah, luckily there for Hurricane, because you know, if he did not handle that very well, he probably could have gotten a lot more. I think Stats is going to try to apply some pressure just a little bit here. Once again, the Oracle comes and pokes in. Not activated, though, so he does back out. Blink is about halfway done here for Hurricane. Important to note, because that's really when it's going to tip the scale and favoritism, I think, for Hurricane coming up here. By the way, both players are cranking out Immortals here. And we only just now have Stats starting his Blink a little bit behind, actually a lot of bit behind where Hurricane is.
Yeah, Blink 2/3 of the way done here for Hurricane, and that means he can pressure. I think Hurricane's idea with this attack was just simply to, oh, he gets one more probe there, nicely done. I think the idea was to kind of whittle away at Stats' units after he killed those Adepts and just have such a tempo advantage that eventually he could just kill him with a Blink attack. But I don't think this game is that cut and dry right now, actually. I think it's more of both players getting this tech, but Hurricane's not going to be able to end the game with it. He's just going to have a slight lead with it, and they can use it to harass a little bit. But because of the way this map is designed, you can't really blink into the main and get out, you know? There's nowhere to blink. You go to the main, you have to go out the same way you came in. There's no way, there's no ground space to the north or to the south of the base, either of them. And you're surrounded by dead airspace.
Well, let's see. The Nexus has started up here. This is the nature of this map, is both players will always be expanding towards the right. Again, I love this map. I just like that it creates a different feel. It creates a different atmosphere. I was curious if we're going to see a drop there by the Warp Prism on that island location. I'm not sure if that would ever become a thing on this map, but it does make me think about that a lot.
Yeah, it's funny because the island can be seen by the watchtower, so you can never really hide a base there, but it would create a whole new dynamic of players dropping and harassing. I think it would just become too expensive to maintain in this matchup.
Yeah, you'd probably have to just become like more dependent. Oh, it's Stork.
Stork, what's up?
Down here watching. Kind of an odd shot there. He's just standing at a wall.
Yeah, he's the coach of Hurricane, so...
Yes, he is, and definitely probably the best coach you can ask for.
Oh my god, that's such a risky place to engage into.
Yeah, that is a very tight bottleneck that he would be coming through right there. He's going to have to move around and take probably the longer path. Stats now coming up. He's going to destroy the rocks up here and probably start putting some pressure on over here where Hurricane's expansion is. Hurricane not in position. It almost seems like Hurricane is gearing up to try to go down through the middle. Yeah, he is. He's going to go down through the middle. I'm not sure what the play is that's correct here.
Yeah, this is a bit weird.
I think they're both going to end up in sort of a base trade scenario.
I think you're right.
I think it's too, yeah, it's too late now for Hurricane to turn around. Stats is committing. They're both attacking different locations. We have the second base under fire right here. I think this is probably a better move here for Hurricane to try to put pressure on this. He can get all these probes and then probably blink into the main and start taking out tech. Meanwhile, over here, oh my god, okay, he's actually going to go back
around. Oh,
yeah,
this is a weird choice.
Well, no, you know what? I think this actually might be really good. He can.
If he can catch this army, I think it's smart, but I don't know if he can. Okay, yes, he can with that blink. Caught.
Oh, man. A lot of Stalkers going down.
And now he's going to have to immediately counterattack again.
Yeah, I think you're totally right, Wolf. I think he has to come back up here, try to put that pressure on. That Nexus, by the way, did survive. Worker count right now, it is in the favor here for Hurricane, but you know, you can't super saturate. Well, you would be super saturated in your mineral patches if you're trying to use that accordingly. So,
yeah.
I think this is a great play. He can come up here and once again force a cancel now on this Nexus. I think Stats is playing this just overall better.
His Nexus back at home is no cancel. Oops. But
yeah, it's not good.
His Nexus back at home is also being rebuilt, or like you said, it didn't die. It's still alive.
Hurricane, I think it's smart that he's not over-engaging here. And nicely done, going to gun down these Stalkers. This is almost checkmate here. The number of Stalkers that have been picked off, the fact that the third base is non-existent right now for Hurricane. I think all he has to do is try to park down here on the low ground, and he's got to contain. I wouldn't even go up there.
Yeah, I don't think... That's what I was going to say. He can't kill him, but he can eventually overwhelm him. Now, one thing that Stats is missing is Disruptor tech. Hurricane has a Disruptor on the way.
That's true.
And that Disruptor will be able to kind of... at least this is what Hurricane is hoping. The Disruptor will allow him to break out of this base, because if it doesn't, he's going to slowly lose this game. He's playing a losing game now. One thing we haven't talked about at all, actually, which I just noticed, is the upgrades for Stats. Stats has +2 with +3 on the way. Hurricane has no upgrades. His +1 is starting. That's a weird thing to see on the production tab.
That's a very, very good point. The, oh man, this is going to be a great catch, and he gets it beautifully done.
Some Terran players got happy seeing that one Adept come out and just be instantly destroyed.
Yeah, revenge. Stats is going to push out here again. And I mean, this is pretty ABC right now for what Stats has to do. He's just going to come out and stamp out that third base, choke him out resource-wise. The Oracle comes in here and surveys the situation, and immediately Stats blinks on top, gunning down these Stalkers.
Catches these Stalkers. Now, this Disruptor is not going to find much because he's out of range, and also the unit comp is a Blink Stalker comp. It's so hard to actually use Disruptors versus a pure Blink Stalker comp like
well,
this.
It's almost like the Stalker just counters the Disruptor.
Yeah.
Even though the Disruptor was made later on, it's definitely a great response. I think Terran is a race that has a little bit of a harder time against something such as the Disruptor, since you know, it's much easier to clump their units together. You can suffer a lot more losses because of it. Once again, the third Nexus coming down here, but the sand is running out of the hourglass here for Hurricane. I mean, he has to get this base up. He is going into Dark Templar tech. That might be one way to start engineering a bit of a comeback.
Sure. Now, this Warp Prism is coming across the map now. This is another way you can maybe find some damage. I don't know where the Mothership Core is exactly right now.
Another attack upgrade about to finish here for Stats. The Mothership Core comes in now, unloading these DTs.
Oh, those are DTs in there, in that Warp Prism. So this is actually going to be able to potentially do a lot of damage until that Observer gets back. He's going to go ahead and kill all of these pylons. The Observer's coming back, but that's not going to be enough. He needs another, group of units. Oh man, he actually is just going to target down probes. Let's see if this actually does a lot of damage here.
Meanwhile, Hurricane's coming out. This is a bit of a mistake. We might have a blink forward. There it is.
Yep, he kills one Disruptor. The second one is still alive. But, you know, he needs to actually use it. It must be on cooldown. It's on cooldown for about one more second. This could be his money opportunity here. Not going to happen.
Nice splitting. Not even needing to use that blink there. Beautifully done. The Immortal's coming up now. Continuing to gun that down.
Nicely 5 Stalkers.
Done. Huge kills there.
Oh my god, this game might turn around if he's not careful. Every Disruptor shot is so important.
And preemptive there for the Disruptor. He needs to get up here. He's got Disruptors of his own, Wolf, and there's not a lot of surface area to move around here. Coming out once again, just staying out of range of that Disruptor is exactly what he has to do.
Here comes the Stats Disruptor shots. Ooh, he actually messes that one up. Doesn't get anything, but he's got a good angle on this Nexus. Oh, good Disruptor shot here on those Immortals, and now he's going to go ahead and hit this Nexus. Comes back to dodge another one.
Being very patient here is Stats. Stats looks like he actually wants to go in for a shove right now.
Oh, he blinks forward. He loses like
done.
8 Stalkers. That Disruptor shot. He blinks past the Disruptor shot, but the second one is going to connect. And this is actually such a crazy game we're watching here. It's almost pure Immortal versus pure Immortal here now, with the high ground advantage to Hurricane.
Well, he's backing up now. It looks like Hurricane might just barely be able to hold on to this. We do have reinforcements en route. 2 Immortals right now to 1. Now that last Immortal has been picked off. He's going up here. He has to try to choke him out.
Oh!
Right at this expansion. Beautiful connection there with the Disruptor.
2 Disruptors for 1 Disruptor shot. And that is going to be game, I think, Tasteless.
I think you're right, Wolf. There's not much else that he can do. GG. Stats takes out Hurricane in game number 1.
So, looks like we are going to just have Stats taking the lead here. I feel like overall, the game there that was played was... I personally felt like my takeaway from that game is I liked Hurricane's strategy more, but I feel like Stats' execution was much better. He had the way better micro when it came to dealing with those early Stalker engagements, and that just kind of continued on for the whole game.
I mean, Hurricane was in a pretty tough spot after we saw... that Nexus go down. I mean, there's not a lot he can do. No island play there, too bad. I was kind of hoping privately that would be used there, but overall, really cool strategies.
Yep, so we're going to go into Dusk Towers here for game number 2 to see if Stats can close it out or if Hurricane is going to end up tying this series 1-1. And talking to Stork here, you know, Stork isn't here just because he likes watching Starcraft. He's here to take care of his pro gamer. And he's talking about that last game, probably saying, like, okay, things were good. Don't get too frustrated. There were a few key moments where Stats got ahead of you there. Maybe probably talking to him about his decision to commit with the Blink Stalker so far, because I actually thought Stats turning around might have been a mistake, but I think that's actually what won him that game. Turning around with the Stalkers, trapping Hurricane Stalkers, catching them off guard like that.